My name is Mike. I'm a professor for social management, and you are listening to Managing Around, the podcast about social sciencing and magic managing.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Managing Around. A lot have been talked about online teaching and learning. The global pandemic sweeping the planet has certainly accelerated the need for classroom transformation. But what can we expect from hybrid teaching in 2020? When we experience the reopening of schools and universities in fall this year, teachers will have to prepare to both in-class students and others calling in via the internet. In today's episode 11, we will talk about the Hyflex Model. If you want to learn more about this, stay tuned. Let's start with the first question. What is Hyflex? Blended learning, hybrid teaching, Hyflex, whatever you want to call it, this style of teaching is being adopted at various places all around the world. As technology improves and geographical landscapes become less of a barrier and more of an opportunity. Hyflex basically means that we combine online teaching with in-class sessions, both at the same time. It is a type of hybrid teaching, which means that we use the best of the two different worlds of online teaching and in-class teaching. Hyflex has some pros and cons, and it needs further investigation to be fully understood. Today, we will look at some obstacles and opportunities of this style of teaching. Let's start with some challenges. First, the instructor's mindset. For many teachers and students, this could seem like a large departure from the status quo, and subsequently, they might resist it. Design a fully online class and think of the interactions between in-class and remote students. Second, the noise level in the classroom. Ensure that both in-class and virtual attendees can hear the teacher and each other very well. This can be difficult and requires an investment in good microphones and certainly a mute culture. Third, access to educational technology. While there are several excellent applications out there for video conferencing, being able to use them is another question. Not every school and every student has a laptop, tablet, or computer. And fourth, access to the internet. Even if students have adequate technology, internet speeds vary and fast connections can be vital for seamless teaching experience. This is especially challenging for students from different socioeconomic backgrounds. Now we will have a look at some positive aspects. First, Hyflex is closer to equal opportunities than traditional teaching. In this environment, everyone can interact, whether virtually or physically. Second, access to education for those who might not otherwise have it. Students with health issues, geographical issues, or other obstacles will not have to miss out if they are able to use, besides the app and website, the Deal-In feature to connect via phone to any of the video conferencing systems. Third, empathy and understanding. Students will have the opportunity to learn more about their classmates' situations in a Hyflex environment. Fourth, coursework will be always delivered digitally. The need for cumbersome printouts, pens, papers, and more can be eliminated by using a learning management system. Fifth, sharing becomes easier rather than making manual copies of notes. Electronic notes can be created and sent to other students. This can be done via collaboration via note-taking apps such as Etherpad or equivalence. 6th, time management. Recording can mean that those students with time issues can still receive the class later and do not miss out. 7th, proven deeper understanding. A study by the US Department of Education found out that students attending hybrid classrooms pay more attention, and we will take a deeper dive into the advantages and disadvantages of this model of teaching in future episodes. But I hope that this short primer gives you a better understanding of the Hyflex model. Finally, for all teachers, I will answer an important question about this style of teaching. Do you need 2 versions of the same lesson? Jana Cohn, an academic researcher and specialist at Stanford University, suggests that thankfully the answer is no. Rather than designing 2 versions of the same course for your online and offline students, it is best, Cohn says, to ensure your planning is for a digital first, but not digital only experience, as it is easier to adapt your offline experience on the fly. Continues, appreciating that it is difficult to fully embrace what can be seen as a radical departure from the norm. And a quote from Jana Cohn, it involves a fundamental rethinking of the instructor's role in designing and learning experience. It's not a bad thing to ask them to do that, but it's a huge cognitive load right now. End quote. Now we come to the end of our episode today. In conclusion, the advantages of this method of teaching need to be fully embraced, and challenges and opportunities need to be taken into consideration. Before we continue with this topic, I would like to ask you at the end of this episode, what are your thoughts on hybrid teaching? What do you want to know? And I will be able to contribute to your questions in the next episodes. Thank you for listening.
If you liked this episode, please leave a review on the Apple's podcast website. If you are not using an iPhone, there's a link in the show notes. If you've got any ideas or thoughts on this episode, or if you've got an idea about new podcast topics or questions you'd like to discuss, send an audio file or voice note to hi@profmanagement.de. For any non-audio comments, drop a tweet or a DM to @profmanagement on Twitter, please. Thank you for listening and see you next time.